6 months after Gov. Andrew M. Cuomo unveiled an $836 million emergency plan to tackle New York City's failing subway system. New performance numbers show modest improvements in some areas, like major disruptions, but little progress on other issues that matter to riders, like how long they wait for a train. The data suggests that, at best, the Metropolitan Transportation Authority, which oversees the subway, is managing to stabilize what has been a system riddled by constant delays and plagued by failing infrastructure stemming from years of neglect and mismanagement. Some longtime riders who have seen their commute steadily worsen say they have noticed little change and have resigned themselves to near-daily frustration. Transit officials acknowledge that they are, in essence, in triage mode, applying bandages before they can move on to major surgery. And they admit that the day when riders truly feel confidence in the subway is still a long way off. We need to get back to reasonable, defensible level of service reliability, where customers can rely on the subway service, can expect not to be delayed, said Andy Byford, who has been president of New York City Transit, which runs the subway and public buses, since January. But to me that is still not good enough. We still need to make trips shorter and wait times shorter. One of the biggest improvements so far has been a decrease in major incidents that delay 50 or more trains. In December, the most recent month for which information was available, there were 50 major weekday incidents, compared to 76 in December 2016. Trains are also traveling longer on the tracks before breaking down, about 120,000 miles in December, up from 105,000 miles during the same time span in 2016. Still, some of the causes of major incidents, like signal and track failures, occurred at roughly the same rate each month from August through November. The rate for December was not available. The modest improvements are unlikely to make a meaningful difference to many riders, said Danny Simons, a spokeswoman for the Regional Plan Association, an urban research and advocacy group. The numbers are promising, but it will take more time for the riders to fully feel the effects, she said. Indeed, some of the extensive work being done to tracks and signals and other parts of the system, as well as the shutdown of train service at night to expedite repairs, has contributed to delays, transit officials said. But, Mr. Byford said, a little bit of pain is worth the gain because what we are doing is putting right decades of underinvestment. So far workers have fixed more than 7,000 track defects since the start of the action plan last July. The sight of a giant vacuum sucking up litter at his stop in northern Manhattan one recent morning heartened Ajanthan Balasankam, an actuary, but then he wondered why he had never seen one before. With litter a major contributor to track fires, the Transportation Authority has beefed up its cleaning operation as part of the emergency plan. What we are doing is taking the backlog of deferred maintenance that hasn't been done in the past and doing it, said Phil Eng, the Transportation Authority's chief operating officer. Some riders, while lauding what they see as the Transit Authority's sense of urgency, said the work has yet to alter their commuting experience. Carla Mileski, 36, works in advertising and commutes to Times Square from the 40th Street station in Sunnyside, Queens, where countdown clocks were recently installed. Several weeks ago, she said, they stopped working. Ms. Mileski also said she is unsure of the value of the more detailed explanations she sometimes hears when things go wrong. A signal malfunction. I don't understand that as a human being, she said. I don't understand if that means it's going to be 5 minutes or 10 minutes. Transit officials said they are looking into Ms. Mileski's countdown clock complaint. Still, she said she is not optimistic about the subway's future. The sense I get is that the system is so far gone, that it would be really, really hard to fix it at this point, she said. So if I see a few guys working on the tracks on a Saturday, I don't think they're fixing it. I don't think they possibly could. Gemilla Magnusson, who lives in Harlem and works at an urban planning nonprofit in Union Square, said, "The communication is getting better, but the commute is not." For the past 6 months, she has checked 2 separate apps to figure out which train to take. It adds another layer of work that you have to do in a city that's very demanding, Ms. Magnusson, 39, said. We all have demanding jobs and demanding lives, and to also need to problem solve for what's going to happen with the subway. It's tough. Transit officials said they were in the process of revamping the Transportation Authority's app and website to be easier to use, but no date has been set for an unveiling. Not all the changes have been appreciated. Henry Posner travels from Westchester County to his job at B&H Photo in Manhattan and uses the shuttle from Grand Central to Times Square for part of his journey. Some of the seats have been removed from the shuttle trains as a way to increase capacity and speed up loading and unloading. All it does is force me to stand when I could have taken a load off my knees for 2 minutes, Mr. Posner said. So far, he said, the $836 million that Mr. Cuomo, who controls the Transportation Authority, pledged to invest has had little impact on his commute. I don't see any place where they spent $836, much less $836 million, he said. Mr. Posner had a suggestion. What would be wonderful, he said with a laugh, would be if we could just rip it all out and start it over.